It's 1963, and Detroit believes it already knows the formula for winning. Bigger engines, more cubic inches, more horsepower. Chevrolet has its mighty 409. Ford is preparing new high-performance V8s. Chrysler is betting everything on its Max Wedge. On the high banks of Daytona, horsepower has become an arms race, and every manufacturer thinks they know what the competition is bringing. Then, a handful of Chevrolets arrive with their hoods firmly shut. Nobody outside a small circle of engineers is allowed to see what's underneath. Mechanics rope off the cars. Reporters are turned away. Rival teams grow suspicious. Yet when the green flag drops, these mysterious Chevrolets are suddenly faster than anyone expected. They sound different. They pull harder. And they leave competitors wondering a simple question. What was Chevrolet hiding? The answer would reshape American performance engines for decades. But first, it had to survive one disastrous debut. By the early 1960s, Chevrolet's 409 had become a legend. Originally developed from the 348W series engine, it had earned a reputation on drag strips and NASCAR ovals alike. The Beach Boys immortalized it in song, while racers praised its brute strength. But inside Chevrolet engineering, admiration was mixed with concern. The 409 had reached a crossroads. Its unusual combustion chamber, formed partly in the engine block rather than entirely in the cylinder head, had been innovative when introduced. But as engine speeds climbed and competitors demanded ever greater airflow, engineers realized they were approaching the limits of what the design could deliver. More power was possible, but extracting it was becoming increasingly difficult. One man assigned to solve that problem was engineer Dick Kyneth. Rather than squeezing a few extra horsepower from the existing engine, his team proposed something far more ambitious. Build an entirely new V8. Not an upgrade, not a revised 409, a clean sheet successor. Internally, Chevrolet called the existing W Series the Mark I. Naturally, its replacement became the Mark II. The goal wasn't simply to outrun Ford for one racing season. It was to create an engine architecture capable of carrying Chevrolet into the future. That decision immediately created a problem. General Motors officially prohibited factory-backed racing beginning in 1963. Publicly, the company insisted it wasn't competing. Privately, engineers still understood that racing remained the fastest laboratory in the world. How do you develop an advanced racing engine when you're not supposed to have one? The answer was secrecy. The new engine would be tested quietly, assembled in limited numbers, and revealed only when absolutely necessary. Documentation was kept to a minimum. Contemporary accounts suggest only a few dozen engines were ever produced, though surviving records differ on the exact number because many prototypes were later scrapped. If someone had removed the valve covers, they would have noticed something strange. The valves didn't stand neatly in a row like those of the 409. Instead, they leaned at different angles, almost as if they had been scattered across the cylinder head. Engineers called them canted valves. Racers eventually nicknamed the design the porcupine because the rocker arms seemed to stick out in every direction. That unusual arrangement solved a problem that had frustrated engine designers for years. Imagine trying to breathe through a drinking straw while running a marathon. That's essentially what happens when air struggles to enter and leave an engine at high RPM. The straighter and larger the airflow path, the easier an engine breathes. By angling the valves, Chevrolet's engineers created larger ports and more efficient combustion chambers without making the engine impossibly large. The result was dramatically improved breathing where racing engines needed it most. But better airflow alone wasn't enough. The entire engine block abandoned the old W Series combustion chamber layout. Instead, combustion moved into modern wedge-shaped chambers within the cylinder heads. That change simplified future development while creating a stronger foundation for larger displacements and higher performance. Looking back today, it's clear this wasn't simply another racing engine. It was Chevrolet abandoning one philosophy in favor of another. Then came Daytona. Chevrolet quietly entered several cars equipped with the new 427 cubic inch Mark II. Nobody outside the program knew exactly what they contained. Spectators only knew one thing. They were unbelievably fast. Junior Johnson qualified near the front. Johnny Rutherford recorded blistering speeds. Smokey Yunick's black and gold Chevrolet became one of the most talked about cars in the garage before many people had even heard the engine start. Rival manufacturers demanded answers. Journalists coined a nickname that would outlive the engine itself: the mystery motor. For a brief moment, Chevrolet appeared to have found the future. Then reality arrived. Racing doesn't reward brilliant ideas. It rewards durable ones. The mystery motor had speed, but it was still a prototype. Several cars suffered mechanical failures before the checkered flag. While the engine demonstrated extraordinary potential, Daytona also exposed weaknesses that engineers would need to address before the design could become truly dependable. Ford ultimately claimed victory, while Chevrolet left with something far more valuable than a trophy: data. That might sound disappointing. In truth, it changed everything. Engineers now knew the airflow concept worked. They knew the combustion chambers were superior. They knew the architecture could produce power beyond what the 409 could reasonably achieve. Now, they simply had to make it survive. Unfortunately, another obstacle appeared: corporate politics. General Motors' racing restrictions meant the Mark II received little official support after Daytona. Many engines reportedly disappeared into storage or were destroyed. Because Chevrolet couldn't openly promote its racing development, one of the most advanced American V8s ever created simply faded from public view almost as quickly as it had appeared. For many engines, that would have been the end. For the mystery motor, it was only an intermission. Chevrolet's engineers quietly refined the concept. They strengthened the bottom end. They improved durability. They adapted the design for production rather than pure competition. Some experimental paths, including a proposed Mark III with larger bore spacing, never progressed because of manufacturing cost and tooling concerns. Instead, the team focused on making the existing concept practical for assembly lines. In 1965, the mystery finally revealed itself. Chevrolet introduced the Mark IV Big Block as a 396 cubic inch production engine. To most buyers, it seemed completely new. Inside Chevrolet engineering, it was the polished descendant of the secret engine that had shocked Daytona 2 years earlier. The canted valve cylinder heads remained. The modern combustion chamber remained. The lessons learned from a Mark II became the foundation for an entirely new generation of Chevrolet performance engines. From there, the story exploded. The Mark IV family quickly grew beyond 396 cubic inches. Versions followed at 427 and eventually 454 cubic inches, powering Corvettes, Chevelles, Camaros, full-size Chevrolets, heavy-duty trucks, boats, and countless race cars. The architecture proved remarkably adaptable, becoming one of the defining American V8 designs of the muscle car era. Ironically, the engine most people remember isn't the one that started the revolution. Collectors celebrate the L88. Racers admire the 427. Enthusiasts dream about the 454 LS6. Yet almost all of them owe part of their existence to an engine most people never saw. The mystery motor never won Daytona. It never appeared in dealership brochures. Most enthusiasts couldn't have identified one if it sat in front of them. And that's precisely what makes it remarkable. Its greatest achievement wasn't dominating a single race. It was proving that Chevrolet's future no longer belonged to the 409. The forgotten Chevrolet V8 didn't replace the 409 because it became famous. It replaced it because its engineering was simply better. Sometimes the most important machines aren't remembered for the victories they earned. They are remembered, if they're remembered at all, for the ideas they left behind. The Mark II mystery motor arrived in secrecy, stumbled in public, disappeared into legend, and quietly became the blueprint for one of the most successful big block engine families in American history. For just a few months in 1963, it was the engine nobody was supposed to see. More than 60 years later, it may be one of the most important Chevrolet engines most people have never heard of.